So let me take the pleasure of introducing and welcoming Sridhar Govardhan. So Sridhar Govardhan is a cybersecurity expert, and incidentally, he is also an ex-Wipro, but currently with Flipkart, leading their cybersecurity practices. And he's the chief security head there. So he has been with us from the beginning of our programs. He is our board of studies member, have strengthened, given very, very valuable insights and continuously following up what we do on cybersecurity. So Sridhar has been an industry veteran in cybersecurity. You would have seen him talking in many industry forums on cybersecurity practices. And I think from information security to cybersecurity practices, he has been driving a lot of innovations in this space. But whether you are a cybersecurity aspirant or a participant or an analytics or AI, security becomes one of the most difficult as well as most important concern today. Whether you are developing an AI product or you are developing a process, security is all over. And I'm hoping that you will be able to connect the dots, even if you are not a cybersecurity participant. Over to you.
Thank you, Shinu. It's always a pleasure to be back in campus. So welcome back to office. Oh, sorry, back to college. Habitual, right? Now we are calling back everyone to office. So that's why back to office is top of the mind. So thank you, Shinu and REVA University for inviting me again for one more session. So I think this is the 8th batch of cybersecurity. So I wanted to check in the last 2 years, from March 20th till date, how many of you have switched jobs? 1, 2. No, I'm not going to tell 3. Anyone? I'm not going to question you why. Only 3. How about online? We check how many have raised hands.
Okay, Rashmi says.
Oh, Rashmi also. Yeah. 5. So any reason why people are switching jobs? You must have heard the great resignation happening, right? How many of you have read that article saying that we are undergoing a huge attrition? Every company has been saying that 30-40% of attrition. And you know why this happened? No, why after March 20th? Yeah, of course, startups. Okay, yes.
There was a gap in the technology.
Gap in the technology. Okay. Any other reason? Absolutely. I mean, that is a secondary benefit of working from home. But there is a very good reason. Technology pushed. People wanted to use technology. From March 20th, lockdown started. COVID unfortunately pushed us to stay home. COVID fueled technology adoption. Have anyone thought UPI could jump the trillions of transactions what has been posted? Now you can go on Google or check in YouTube. What is UPI? World is talking about UPI. Before COVID, nobody knew about UPI, right? How many of you used to use UPI for your e-commerce transaction before March 20th? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, nobody uses credit card, right? So there is something which fueled. That adoption also fueled technology hiring. Everyone started poaching each other's. Is that the real reason? Adoption jumped. Leaps and bounds. Companies started looking, where do I get people for technology? I'm not going to talk too much about technology, but I'm going to talk what is in it for you. Okay, you can ignore that cybersecurity because that's my DNA, but so you can also look at what is there in for you. The same transformation. So when this revolution happened, right? You could have seen, right? There were funny snippets in WhatsApp and LinkedIn also. What fueled digital adoption? What was the reason for CTOs to adopt, CIO to adopt digital transformation? Because that was a need of the hour. Companies never had VPN to connect into the network. Governments never had VPN. They bought VPN. They started exposing their internet applications to their employees. This fueled a lot of need for, and companies started adopting cloud, because if you add your applications on-prem, you cannot expose that to your employees. REVA did it. REVA started giving IDs, email IDs, Microsoft Teams IDs to everyone. Every organization's industry adopted to it. It was a need of that. And that fueled what was emerging the transformation is continuing. It's going to continue for another 5 to 10 years because there is a need. We know that, I mean, Praveen talked about so much about technology, right? Micro, whatever that size of that coronavirus brought down the entire world. Stand still. Now we know that it can happen again. So we are gearing up for things to happen. I mean, we don't know. That was, I mean, I would say colossal thing, right? Which never even thought. Governments started implementing lockdown, saying that nobody can go out of the house. Forget about we venturing to another state, another country. Even to enter into one road to another road, there was. So then the adoption fueled. People started looking out, how do I hire people? Cascading effect. Then they started poaching each other. Then they started also adopting, companies started adopting technology faster than they should. 2 years is too short period. Anyone in SI system integration? Anyone in system integration domain? Anyone is in implementation, project management? If someone comes and says, wants to implement a Salesforce, the size of the organization is 10,000 people. They will give you a quotation of 2 years implementation plan, minimum. 3 years of implementation plan. What happened here? Within 3 months, companies started adopting Salesforce. Companies started adopting cloud email systems, which is good. But the flip side, humans make mistakes. That's why if you see, you would be reading in every newspaper, breach after breach, breach after breach. Companies' data getting breached. Is it the fault of technology or is it the fault of companies which adopted? It's both, plus the person who implemented also. You went and left your storage S3 bucket, AWS open for public. Obviously, then you cannot call it as a breach, right? It's a human error. So let's do some amount of double clicking on this. There are different definitions for digital transformation. If my colleague Praveen would have there, he would have told a different definition. But for me, a digital transformation is amalgamation of people, process, technology. How would we call a taxi 15, 20 years back? We go out of our house, that's the technology we used, right? What was the next version of it? So there was a technology element also, right, in between. Miru? Anyone use a Miru cab? What was the technology there? No, app. You booked using app. Miru would radio in their vicinity saying that there is a taxi requirement, and they will ask the person go to the nearest location. Then the driver and the person who booked would struggle to see how do I talk to each other. That was an in-between. So what happened there was amalgamation of people and technology. Or sorry, rather, process and technology. People was not there. The person who booked the cab was the gap there. I don't have visibility. Miru is intermediary where they call and then kind of ask the person to come there. The taxi to come there. And they'll call the customer also say that, oh, the taxi is waiting near the third street, can you come there? This was the gap. Now, Uber gave that people also back to the person who booked, saying that you book it, you see where is the cab coming in, and you pay the money what it is. So Miru became irrelevant. All these three put together is a digital transformation. My definition. Few other also called this. So this is what happened in last 5-6 years. But 2 years, last 2 years, this is at a very fast pace. Convergence of nexus of forces. So I would say, someone asked about cloud, right? Imagine innovation today, digital innovation minus cloud. How it will look? Anyone in cloud technology? Okay, so minus cloud, what would be the challenge?
You will have a thoughts.
You don't have?
No.
No, not that. For innovation.
The infrastructure, the scale we can do.
On-prem?
So things manage your devices. You'll be going to your on-prem and manage it. You can't sit somewhere remotely. You can't manage it.
But you can still operate it, right? If you have, maybe this room would accommodate some 1,000 servers, virtual machine.
Scalability.
Okay, scalability. There's a fundamental before that. How many of you use Book My Show? All of you? Book My Show started in a 30-40 house just 2 blocks away from my house in Cambridge Road. If Book My Show wanted to invest on the infrastructure, Do they have the capital, working capital for investing that? That's the nexus of forces. So anyone can invent and create ecosystem today. So cloud added that extra growth to them. They don't need to buy infrastructure. All you need 50 servers, use your credit card, I will pay after I use it, maybe monthly billing. Maybe I have paid it upfront and then I'm going to consume it 6 months down the line. That's the fuel. And in India, how many of them had credit card? Very few, right? Today, you don't need credit card. All you need is a bank account, which everyone has, and a smartphone. How many of us have smartphone? Okay, let me ask this differently. How many of you don't have smartphone? There's none, right? Every one of us have. I remember 15, 20 years back when camera was added to the phone, many people laughed. What is this camera doing in a mobile phone? Can you recall how many calls you made from yesterday till now? PSTN call. The PSTN, normal voice call. She was checking the phone number. I called you yesterday evening. So that's the only call probably you would have received. 10 calls. Anyone zero? Your
During travel, using these.
That's what has transformed. In last 10 years, phone was used only for calling. Today we don't use for calling. There are so many other ways and means you can use it. Earlier I remember if I'm going very far, right? My wife used to say, or my mother used to say, the moment you go, you reach, inform us. Uber has given share your location. So I took a Uber and came here because Shinu invites outside of the Bangalore, right? So it's a interstate travel for me. So so what do I do is there is an option called share my travel. Automatically you end, the message goes saying that the trip is completed. So technology has changed. That's nexus of forces. Payment also has added a lot of flexibility for people to use technology. Earlier it was not, right? In 2000 bubble, when the dot-com bubble came, right? I don't know how many of you were even in colleges or not there. But definitely when that came, right? I used to work for a company which was developing an e-commerce. 2000. It failed miserably. Even though I was working in a technology company in Old Airport Road, it was funded well by Singapore company. I didn't have a credit card. And the only way to pay on that e-commerce portal was you have to pay in credit card. So there was no other way. The company which I am working for, Flipkart, was the first company to start cash on delivery. That was a transformation. So if you say that in 2000 we had that luxury of payment using any of those methods, we could have achieved e-commerce way back that time itself. Now today, imagine one process fails, your payment system fails. What are the repercussions? 4 months back, Hotstar, Myntra, even IPL final was going on, was all down. Anyone aware what happened there? There's a service called Akamai. How many of you know what is Akamai? It's a CDN provider. They were down for a couple of hours. But what happened? All the customers behind CDN. CDN is nothing but, I don't know, maybe Shinu and Sandeep was there. We would have experienced the actual internet way back in 2000, right? You play a YouTube video, 1 hour video will be seen in 8 hours. So you'll be seeing that circle because that CDN helps you. So they cache at the local. So the closest hop, if you're accessing from Bangalore, there will be 2-3 servers in Bangalore which will cache all the videos locally and then that will be streamed to you so that you don't need to go and access it from US or UK. So that's a technology which CDN gives you. So that technology was down. Look at the cascading effect. Same applies in cybersecurity also. One vendor gets breached, it applies across the ecosystem. Undefined perimeter. Or all of you, most of you are working. Have you configured your office mail in your phone? Did you have that luxury 5 years, 10 years back, sir? What you used to do for accessing your office mail?
We had two problems. If you're an artist, you open your computer, no laptop, but computer and just. If you have to go outside, then you put a weekend and all. And there is something called
One pass.
web interface. So for that, you still have to have a password and a lot of process to go through. Webmail.
No, before webmail. OVA was the Outlook Web Access. There was another one pass. Your company has to buy that and then give it to employees. So you can access via phone. Now companies don't have boundaries. 10 years back, there was a very clear defined boundaries. This is the corporate email. This is the application used by employees. This is intranet. This is DMZ. This is my employee zone. Gone. Do you access your CRM on your phone? Do you access your company's chat on your phone, Slack? So where is the boundary today for companies? It's gone. Oversight, omission, errors are getting costly. There's a company called credit scoring company in US. I forgot. Largest one in the world, 110-year-old company. So they know individually how much money you own, how much money you have spent, how much money you are going to invest. That was a company. So that company faced a breach. They almost are in bankrupt stage now. They are the one who invested in India also, the CIBIL scoring, right? So what the name of that? I'll tell you. That company, one administrator missed patching the systems. The smallest mistake can be very, very expensive. And the CEO of the company was sitting in front of the US Senate Congress explaining what went wrong. And he was sacked. CIO, CISO, CEO, the entire management was sacked. Today, any company, small, big, large, is connected to 52 other companies, minimum. Any industry. If one of them gets breached, cascading effect. There is seamless access to each other's network. And that's what is happening, right? Any example? SolarWinds. This is a company which manages most of the organization's network. Uptime of systems. This got breached. So what? US government was breached because of that. So many other companies. Microsoft was breached. And rapidly evolving technology, which is good, which is bad. People adopt without understanding whether it fits me or not. DevOps methodology. Anyone in security? Anyone in web application security? How much time you take for minimum for scanning an application, if it comes for application testing? Minimum how much time it will take for you to scan an application security for application of maybe 100 page, 100. No, that's new. I'm talking about. How much time? Minimum it used to take 4-5 days. And the tester will convert that into a report and give it another 2-3 days. What is the sprint time now? 15 days. Now, if I say for security testing, I need 1 sprint, will anyone agree? No one will agree. So this is again a challenge for security. Now, all these things, challenges are good, problems are good, right? There is someone who is going to solve that. Otherwise, we will be static, right? There is nothing challenging for us to kind of make it happen. What is there for us? Not only for cybersecurity professionals, but this challenges what brings. You could also see one of the highly deprived domain or area space in technology, right? Cybersecurity. Absolutely, we still work on signature-based detections. When I say signature-based, if there are unfortunate comparison, but coronavirus, you need a vaccine specially developed for coronavirus. Similarly, in cybersecurity world also, if there is a new virus which has come, the malware or physical, not the physical, but the logical virus, we need to define a signature for it to detect and cure. That's a world we live in cybersecurity also. So there is absolutely huge space for innovation using AI. Very few people do it, and thanks to Chino and Simba sir also has been working on automation detection using, I think one project was also done, right? IDS IPS. There is a huge space for innovation here. As someone said, right? Startups, you can start. This is the statistics of job in cybersecurity. This is not, I put it yesterday and day before, this is a 1-year-old data, but still relevant, very powerful today also. As we speak, if anyone stands up in this room and says that I'm 10 years, 15 years experienced, the 2 people will be ready to interview here. One is myself, the other one Sandeep will be doing. And if Ram comes, Ram is busy. 3 people will be interviewing here itself. Every company has open requisitions for cybersecurity. I don't want to go through this data. It's all there in front of you. Highest job opening is in India. And there is a new trend. I mean, the attrition is so high in my own org, people are going to Europe. You know why? The war, Russia and Ukraine has opened the 3rd war. third space for the war, right? Physical war and the political war, the war words exchange, right? Every day Zelensky comes and gives a video, and then Putin gives video, and then India observes, and US comments. And the third is the cyberspace. Many are not getting reported, many are not told, but there is huge war going on. And these are all the top skills required in cybersecurity. The hot and happening cloud security, definitely, because the adoption is huge, mind-boggling. If you open AWS and Azure data center 3 years back, 4 years back, and today, you will see so many new data centers coming up. They're adding more and more data centers in the existing location itself. In India itself, they started with Pune and Chennai. Now they're starting one in Gurgaon. Maybe they'll be starting one more in, I think, Kolkata, I think. Is that they don't have anything better to do than just opening data centers? No, there is demand for them. They know that the forecast is going to grow in multiple dimensions. So that's why they're building it. And trust me, building a data center is not an easy job. Huge investment, huge investment. Real estate, power, and the systems itself will cost you crores and crores of rupees. So there is demand. It's going to continue for another minimum 5 to 10 years until everyone moves on to cloud. And the technology, because of the adoption of so many new areas, there is demand for it. So I'll not go depth, but these are the and the security architecture. Today, there are architects in different domains. Security doesn't have architects. And what do we do for that? We cannot have any course. I mean, see, interestingly, one of the HCL batch 1. So he asked in one of the sessions like this, saying that I wanted to become a CISO. Then the thought came saying that how do we, like today, anyone can be a CFO or a CEO, right? When you open a startup, then be a co-founder, one of them will be a CFO, one of them will be a CBO, one of them will be a CEO. Then who will be the CISO? Then the question struck us back saying that how do we make CISOs out of the professionals who are here? It's not a rocket science. You need to have a strong heart to withhold a lot of pressures. And of course, you have to take a lot of blood. So that's what is required apart from, exactly. See, that's what today, that what you said, the word de-risk, right? It's not exactly de-risking, but the CISO needs an ecosystem. You need that space to work. You need that freedom to operate. So how does that freedom, space, and the resources you need is given to you? If you're in the topmost in the organization, having a visibility and access to whatever you want to ask, that's the best thing a CISO can get. If you have that, you can operate. See, any CISO will do the same justice what he wants to do. It's not that failed CISO is something he failed miserably because of his mistakes. It's just because of the constraints what is given in this organization. If he has access to the system, to the resources, and he has the freedom to operate in his own way, trust me, he can do that. And that is only way being done today. Board has a mandate to talk about cybersecurity in their meetings. That's the mandate which is given to the board of members. That's the board of members has a certain set of guidelines and principles. So that one of them is to discuss cybersecurity, and they discuss all the risks: operational risk, financial risk, brand reputation, cybersecurity risk. There's another statistics which talks about which domain, how much is the job demand. There are demands in cloud, analytics, data science. Cybersecurity is also there with 68% of demand in the digital skills. Where do the jobs exist? In India and US, highest. Now, after this Ukraine-Russia crisis, the Europe also will start demanding. And what are the industries? If 10 years back, if you ask me what sectors would have been looking for a security, probably the banking, insurance, except that nobody would be bothered about cybersecurity. But today, telecom is national critical infrastructure requirement. So you need to have, so mandatory. Retail, lot of money. Utilities, critical infrastructure. All of them have requirements for cybersecurity. And there is another interesting data also. The people used to assume that if I get certified, I would get a job, which is true. It is true in most of the places, right? But there is a declining trend. Just by acquiring certification, you're not going to get a job. That's just to prove that you have the skill. So how do you take a path to cybersecurity? So this is what was asked as a survey to many cybersecurity professionals. This is what the results are. So many said that different type of technology and applications have been mastered, and along with that, knowledge on, see, the security is one domain where You need to be mastered in all the stack. Can I have a security professional who's only good at application? No, you need someone to look at your operating system also. You need to look at someone at your network level. You need to look at someone at your API level. So it's a complex world. Can I look at only network? No. What about your data? What about your user access? The process also plays a very, very vital role. Without process, an employee joins, okay, fine. I know that employee, this is the 5th employee in my company, and he is leaving tomorrow. HR sees that, oh, that seat is vacant, I go and delete the employees. What about if you are a 50,000 employee organization? You need to have a strong process. So you need to have process, governance, technology, and in technology you need to have all the stack, and you need to have business knowledge. Can I go and implement a firewall the way I want? Praveen was talking about convergence of OT and IT, right? The way I want to implement in my IT network on a OT environment, you will miserably fail. OT environment is very, very, very sensitive for delays. It cannot take delays. If a manufacturing plant is down, you know what happens. Last 2 weeks back, Japan had ransomware attack and the entire production was stopped. Why did it took cybersecurity as a role? These are the different, and many people choose from IT to security. That's a good transition. I said about security architect, right? You don't need to be a cybersecurity architect. You can come from network. You can come from application domain. You can come from if you have worked in operating Wintel, Linux, you can be an architect in building cloud environment. How did you achieve cybersecurity job? These are all the elements people said. Most of them is combination of all, but people take a kind of a standardized career, like what you guys have taken. Structured course where they teach you everything. So that's what at least we have ensured in REVA, where in the board of studies we discussed that does it cover all the gamut of security? Are we going to, because people think that if I do a CH, because CH is also one of the things we will certify you for, is that cybersecurity? No, it's only a small element of things what you do. Today, you open up your application for bug bounty, 100 people will come and give you bugs. How many people are smart enough to go and fix that? So we ensure that the course also teaches how to fix it effectively, how to work with. See, biggest problem in cybersecurity is not the technology, people itself. How do you communicate effectively? How do you influence them to kind of remediate? Because you don't own the remediation, right? There's someone who will remediate it. You have to go and talk to the developer. And when you talk to the developer saying that I have anyone from development, if I come and tell you that there is, you both raised your hands on security, but if there is anyone who is a pure developer, if I tell you that SQL injection, do you understand what is SQL injection? That's what we do. Cybersecurity professionals will go and tell there is a SQL injection attack, a XXX attack. They will not understand. That's a problem. So we need to know how to communicate and talk in the language which they understand. Because we go by the tool, what the tool says, SQL injection attack. And I don't know who kept that name SQL injection. This is there for almost 20 years now. And there's another view of how do I get into it. 68% of attendees feel that a proper training would help, a structured training. And what it takes to be successful in cybersecurity, not only for cybersecurity, any role. These are the ones. You need to have absolutely good communication skill. You need to be an influencer to make others do what you want to do. See, I can tell you, CISO's org will talk to anyone and everyone in the organization. There is no other function similar to, there are few, HR is one and the finance is one. So there are very few organizations which will talk to everyone. You will talk to your physical security who is at the gate and to your CEO who is at the topmost floor in the corner having a nice view of your legal, finance, business, HR. Everyone has a role to play. You influence them to achieve, as I mentioned, right? If HR processes are not strong, people leave the organization and go, but the ID still lies in your system. A dormant 15 IDs would be there who will be still accessing your critical resources. We don't want that. So you have to work with HR. Ensure that HR triggers once a person moves out of the organization on the last day, triggers alert to the IT. IT deletes on the same day, 6 p.m., whatever the time zone is, and confirms back to HR saying that it's been purged. HR plays a role. Where does finance play a role? Paisa, funding. Where does legal play? You have to have all your vendor contracts, information security clauses. If he commits a mistake and breaches, you're going to sue him. He's going to bear the penalty. Legal is going to tell which regulation is going to come from different organizations, different country where you are operating. Legal is a very powerful stakeholder for you. Privacy, business will say that I am going to start this new initiative. I'm going to start this new business model. What are the security risks? You would be working with all the stakeholders. So communication plays a very, very, very important element. If you're not able to communicate your thoughts, not only in this, right? Many people I've seen get stuck with that itself. Technical skills, I'm done. If you don't go beyond that, you would have a challenge. So that's one you should look at. Leadership skills. How do you manage? Over a period of time, you have to give up a few things and then take up new roles. That could be, I don't want to be techie anymore. I want to be a people manager. I want to grow in my career. So then you have to adopt new style of working. Of course, there are so many other things. We have seen this. What are the biggest shortage of cybersecurity skills by technology? As I mentioned, analysis and investigation, application security, security engineering. That's where you build platforms and solutions for solving security problems. And this is the money involved in this. 248 billion by 2026. We are almost there. Today it's almost somewhere around $160 billion globally. And you can choose this is a number which companies, governments, everyone invests in different aspects of it. Consulting. You work for another company like what Terralogic does, giving services. You work as an individual for a company as a cybersecurity professional. Products. You can be a startup. You can sell your products. So what you want to be in this space, what pie of this 248 billion you want to take is in your hands. And by 2 years, right? So it's be 2024. And how do we transform? So I'm not going to go full-fledged, but if you are new to this space, if you are a fresher, where do I land up in cybersecurity? These are all the role you can play. This is the career path. Lack of time, I'm not able to go through this, but if you're relaunching a career, a quality person can take up audit role, not much of transformation. All you need to, you have the basics, you know how to deal with your auditee, you know how to plan an audit. All you need to know is what are the spaces in security I should understand. Similarly, if you have been in application domain, can I be application security tester? Of course, most welcome. If I'm in network space, can I move into, say for example, engineering? Can I build solutions? Can I do vulnerability management for network space? Most welcome. So how do I relaunch my career in cybersecurity? These are all the space for you. If you have been in, say for example, in legal, you could take privacy, very close. And if you want to enhance your career in cybersecurity, you have been there. These are all the portfolio you can choose. And these are all either currently there or a kind of a domain which will emerge very shortly. When I said this incident responders 4 years back, people never realized. Today there is a role called incident responder. People want to handle that incident. Incident will happen. I mean, today if any CISO or any organization or any security professional says that 100% secured and I don't have an opportunity for incident, he's lying. Incident will happen. It's only how do you handle that and how do you kind of come out of it. One advice I would say that, because I took this transformation of doing a college after 20 years of things, is I did it in 2015 to 17. Leave your baggage. We carry a lot of baggage when we come to learning again. So the learning agility or the ability is very, very high when we are young. Why we lose that agility and ability to do that after certain ages, we carry baggage. I had 6 months back also one candidate who was given as my mentor in capstone, still saying that I am in OT environment, I want to do a project in OT. I don't tell the gentleman saying that, guy, that's a good space, but do something out of your comfort zone. Why you want to carry the same thing you have been doing? You go and give a kid to do something, right? Please draw something, give the crayons. They will draw whatever. If you call 10 kids and then do it to draw, right? They will draw whatever they think. And what we do, we are in comfort zone. We wanted to do what we have been knowing. My request is, someone asked, right, how do I learn quickly, unlearn what I've learned? If you enter the best place where I've worked so far, Wipro, right? The first thing in Electronic City campus, almost 14, 15 years back, when you go there, right side, left side is, you see that. You should unlearn and then relearn. If you have come here, I'm sure you would have invested a lot of time, a lot of commitment you would have made to your family. a lot of commitment to yourself, saying that I would achieve that. Keep that commitment spirit till end of the second year. I mean, the second year also. I have seen many people losing that steam after 6 months itself. You have invested money. Money is one thing. Second is you have taken that commitment. I will be doing this course till the end. And for that, please unlearn whatever you learned. Drop all the baggages. Be a student. Saturday, Sundays, morning when you come here, be a student. Go back to your olden days. Trust me, you would see a huge transformation in yourself. Worst part is if I bring my professional in front of me, that's when the challenges come. I've seen the arguments, what happens, right? I mean, I'm not scaring you guys, but it will happen. Trust me, you will remember this in this 2-year period. There'll be a lot of argument. No, that's not the way it should be done. This is the way it should be done. Go back, see the campus, and then can you do that in that part of the world? Just go take a left. There are 15,000 students there. Can they do that? No, I want to do only this capstone. Can a student there argue? So unlearn, leave all your baggages, whatever we are carrying, and then let's be a student. That's a successful. And you would see a transformation after that. 2 years, 2015 when I did my MTech in Bitspilani, right? 17, 18 almost, finished, and then I took a transformation saying that let me move on. I moved out of Wipro after 14.5 years. 19, I got the job. It takes time, right, for you to digest. To prepare a resume itself, every weekend I used to sit and then open my resume is ready. So let me do that next week. That itself takes time. So you would see a transformation only if you give that space to yourself, saying that let me leave my baggage. I could have easily retired in Wipro. Trust me, that company, there are people who are retired. So this is it. That's it. Thanks. I'm done. This is one thing. If you don't do that, unlearn and relearn, any amount of learning is not going to help you. Thank you.